Rashawn, it's raining, it's pouring, the old man is breathing rather loudly. What are you doing?
I was doing a little bit of like Facebook sleuthing just for a quick second. Like I saw these eggs and they're cooking eggs, but the eggs don't look like they're real, but these are very, very real eggs.
Are they green eggs? Do
I
they have
mean,
ham on the side?
no, they're just oh, it's a pseudo political post. Abort, abort, abort. Okay.
Abort!
Yep.
Welcome, everyone, to the third episode of Closed Circuit. I am one half of the problem with bags that could handle 50 pounds of groceries under his eyes. JT, aka Pinko Panda. To my left, right, and center is the boy wonder, the other half of the problem, Rashawn, aka Sober East. We are totally not restarting this recording because we
Oh
fucked up
no.
the first time. Totally not.
Didn't happen. Didn't happen.
Um, uh, we're talking about friends.
We're gonna be talking about the miracle that is friendship. And like the difference between online friends and real friends, I guess. Because as you know, it's a topic that comes up in all
Or
sorts of conversation daily,
is there
right?
a difference, Rashawn?
That is what we'll be finding out today. So, I want to see what your opinion is first and
Opinion.
foremost, or like people that you know's opinion. Actually, like what have you been hearing that people have been saying like
Oh, this is
concerning
directed at
online
me.
free? Yeah, like online friends.
Um, that's kind of tough because you're trying to keep a straight face from my burp. I see you. Um, that's kind of tough because uh, I don't have a lot of real world friends. Rashawn,
Fair enough.
put me
Fair
on the
enough.
spot. No, but like in all seriousness, I don't have a lot of real world people that I communicate with much, and then the ones that I do, like in face to face, are the ones who also have online friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But like if I ever talk about it with my parents, it's just kind of like these people I talk with over the internet. Like that's how I put it. I don't even say
Right. Right.
friends really because they don't get it.
Like
Um,
you just kind of describe them pass them off as like acquaintances or just
mhm,
people you know online or something like that.
exactly.
Mm.
Um, but I mean, like, I firmly believe that I have a stronger relationship with my online friends than 99, and you're the 1%.
The one
You're the other 1%. You're finally a 1%er. How does it feel?
one percenter. I mean, like, is that like in terms of like friendship or something? Like, I'm one of like the good eggs or something.
Yeah, where
Like, I get
like
to be one of
the
the good ones.
relationship is very strong in like in person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but like the 99% of like my good friendships are online friendships. The people
Mm.
that I've met over my course of playing video games or meeting, doing whatever online.
Right.
Um, I mean, it almost happened this summer. It's supposedly going to happen next summer. It's tough, but there was this guy from the UK that I met playing Halo in
Mm.
2009 or 10. Okay, he's
Oh, so
from
he's one
he's
of like
from
the
like
OG.
Manchester. I forget where exactly, but like I played games with that kid for years.
Right, right.
Okay, and we will probably meet for the first time. We were supposed to meet for the first time in person this summer, but we're probably going to do it next summer because a whole bunch of things is really complicated because he has to
Yeah,
come overseas.
a whole bunch of
But that's the thing,
factors
right?
in it.
Is like
Oh yeah.
I know that when I see him in person, it's not like meeting someone for the first time. I know all about the guy. I
Mm.
know everything. Like for better or worse, I know everything. You know?
Yeah, because you've known him for like enough time to where it's kind of like maybe he's even surpassed like the amount of time you've known like physical friends, I suppose,
Yeah.
right?
So
That's
like,
what it sounds like at
well, I mean, if
least.
you think about it, it's weird, but
Yeah,
I've known him 3 times as long as I've known you.
that's true. That's
It
true.
is only going to be 3 years this fall that we've known each other. That's it. It feels like
Yeah.
we've been like childhood friends, but it's been 3 years. Like that's that. And like with him, like, you know, we're both 21, so we'll probably go to a bar and like chill out and I'll have a beer with him. And like that's the thing is I've known this kid for 9 years now. Yeah, like 2009, 2010 was when I met him, so 8 or 9 years. At that point it'd be 9 or
Mhm.
10 years. Regardless, like it's not like I'm going to have to tell him like what I'm about or anything. We're just gonna
Yeah.
ask each
Yeah.
other like what we're up to, like what's going on in life. It's just gonna be a conversation, you know. There's gonna be no introduction needed.
Mm.
You know, if anything, there might be an awkward 5 minutes where you don't really know whether you're gonna hug them, slap them up, or just be like, "Hey," you know, like
Yeah.
it's just like that. That would be it. Besides that, the conversation will roll just like any other conversation because we've already had a million conversations. The only difference is that we have never been face to face. Like, I mean, we've even been face to face on screen. We've never been face to face in
Yeah.
person. That's the main difference.
Yeah, see that's what's interesting because it's like I never have really had any pressure in reality concerning like talking to somebody about like online friends or real friends. Like it's like I'll talk to my mom and I'll mention like, "Oh yeah, like my friend and I'll just use you as an example despite her actually having met you. I'll just say like something like, "Oh yeah, me and my friend JT we hung out a little bit, we talked, we played a couple games." And she says like, "Oh, that's nice." And she'll like ask me questions about like, "Oh, how old are they? Where are they at?" Like what do they like to do? Do they work? Stuff like that. And it's like my mom tends to see online friends as like regular friends, and I don't know if it's just a mix of like maybe she just doesn't really understand like the wide scope of the internet or just doesn't care for it or something like that, but she kind of just treats them as like one and the same. Whereas
Well, that's
like
cool. Like, that's awesome.
yeah, yeah. No, it's pretty nice. Like it's like she's surprisingly supportive of like the whole like technical aspect of my lifestyle, I suppose, which is really nice. Which while it's like kind of different and shocking with like other people, because it's like if you mention online friends with other people, you might have them say like, "Oh, like how are they your like
Hmm.
how are they your friends if you've never actually like met them or hung out with them?
Oh
Like
yeah.
they might kill you, they might pull a knife on you." And I mean like, well damn, like yeah, they might, but like so might anybody else that I know. Like this it's the same rate. I could potentially get knifed by like any of my actual friends,
Yeah.
probably a higher rate, something like that. But it's like I don't really notice a difference so much myself, and it's like I'm kind of having a hard time understanding why people can't seem to see online friends as real
I
friends.
think that's a product of how we've grown up in this society where everyone can contact everyone with a push of a button. Right now, I can pick up this cellular device,
Oh yeah.
open it, and I'm gonna just go on Snapchat real quick. Open up Snap Maps, zoom all the way out, cross the North Atlantic Ocean, and there one of my friends is in France. And
Huh.
right now, I can click on her and instantly start a conversation.
Just like that.
Just like that.
And it's almost like it's amazing because it's almost like instantaneous is the thing. And it's like I've been kind of appreciating the value of online friends a lot more due to that convenience factor, honestly. And it's like since you are used to only contacting them through like an online communication, it's kind of easier to do so. Like there's no sense of like regionality stopping you or anything like that, like how it tends to happen with like real friends. And like an example, as you know, like I used to live in Western New York before I moved to the
Really,
northernmost part of New
I
York.
did not know.
Well,
I
the
thought we
more you
met.
know.
I thought we met like in Hawaii.
Hell, I mean, it might have been. That place was like a separate plane of reality on its own,
That's also
honestly.
where we met Dwayne the Rock Johnson and started this idea of the podcast. It was him alone.
What is he? He always calls himself like a big bald brown man, and like all his
Yes.
Instagram posts, he always makes sure to like add that like ending tag, like it's me or it's this guy who's my close friend, the director, and me, the big bald brown man, and it's just like yeah, and then sometimes he'll be like with tattoos, and it's like you're right, you're exactly
It's
right.
like in parentheses with tattoos.
Yeah, he always ends up adding that, and it's just like okay, we got it, so yes, thank you. All right.
See,
He
The
would be an
Rock is my friend because of the internet.
See, and that's an interesting post. Some people actually do relate with things like that. Like I was watching, and I don't even know if I was watching an episode of Funhouse to where they were actually also talking about online friends and how some of their fans connect with them through social media, and like through that they start to see themselves as like actual friends as the community goes and like grows and expands. So it's like some people might actually see when The Rock goes to joke on his Instagram that like they build some sort of like
Friendship.
yeah,
But
some sort of friendship
that's
for
also a double
like
edged sword. Is like, some people just, some bigger people especially, they'll post and then someone will relate to it on a friendship level. And then there was actually a movie, I forget what it was called. I think it came out last year. But it's about this girl who follows this social media icon, believes that there is a not only a friendship related relationship there, but a romantic. And she
oh
actually moves cross country to, excuse me, to then be with him. And he doesn't even know
just
that she exists. She just has like put that relationship title on herself. So
oh so
that's the double-edged sword. I mean, we have, I don't think
yeah.
we've personally, I mean, I'll be fully honest, when I was 14, 15, I had an
Hmm.
internet girlfriend.
Oh yeah, easily.
I mean, like,
I
it's kind of, I have met her. Like, I met her 2 years after we dated.
Hmm.
Um, but like, I think we dated, holy shit, do as many
Yeah.
fucking quotations as possible. We dated for like 3 months.
Hmm.
And this is before anything really besides like Facebook and Twitter. And even then, I wasn't using it.
Right.
I mean, like, actually, so Facebook was probably prevalent at that point, and I think I was using Facebook, but I wasn't using anything else. No Snapchat. I wasn't using Instagram. I didn't have a smartphone, anything like that. So it was just primarily texting on my flip phone. Flip phone?
Could you
Flip phone.
flip phone? Could you imagine? There's some people that can't really imagine that because they just missed the cutoff for
I know.
having like the slide up and
Well,
have the
and then
keyboard.
there's like, there's the ones who don't even know what a dial-up tone is. And I understand that when a dial-up tone happened, I was 5, but that noise is just,
It will be forever ingrained in your brain, just like the
I mean,
Windows
I have
like
people,
shutdown sequence
oh
sound.
yeah, like, boo doo doo doo. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
oh
mean,
yeah.
like at the ski shop, our card machine is hooked up to the phone line. So when it has to go through, it dials up. It dials. So
Mm.
then, like, I've actually had little kids ask their parents in front of me, "What is that sound?" And then they ask me if I'm old enough to know that. I'm like, "Of course I know what that sound
Yeah,
is. Like,
yeah.
I can relate to you on that."
Oh yeah. But
Um,
like oh sorry.
no, so that's why I was just
Yeah.
trying to steer to take a Yui.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, we're taking a little scenic detour.
Scenic, yeah, we keep going off on side roads and then trying to get back to the main road. So essentially, like, I had that girlfriend where we essentially dated over Xbox Live. For us, it was Xbox Live. Yep, yep. For 3 months, I was like bragging to all my friends about it, like
Yeah, she
in
sounds
middle
really
school, high
cute.
school. Like every once in a while, she like send me a picture of her face in my flip phone, and I'd send one back. That was like the original Snapchat, and I'd be like, "Look it, she's cute, she's real." um, and then like 2 years later is when I met her in person. By then, we had like fully moved on from that shit,
Oh yeah.
and I mean, she was, once again, it wasn't awkward because we knew each other. Ironically, we dated, but like
Yeah, I,
we still knew each other at that point where we were comfortable enough to just chill out. So I mean, it was pretty awesome, but at the same time, it just kind of like it opens up that whole thing. Um, I don't know. In this day and age, say you were single,
hmm.
would you date over the internet without meeting them first?
So interesting point about that actually. I and you might not remember this because I was kind of like on the ropes with it, but let's just see if this jogs your memory. Like Mystery Girl from Chicago.
I remember. Yep.
So in that instance, it was when I was maybe like a little bit after or out of my previous relationship. So I was kind of like in a scramble, trying to figure out what to do. And there was a girl that had started messaging me on Instagram, and let's just call her Rose for now, I guess. So
But I thought
Rose,
Rose. Well, wait, no, Rose did survive the Titanic. That makes sense.
yeah. See, so it's like she's her. Let's just say she's somewhere down the lineage tree. She's like one of like Rose number 3 or something.
3.
So Rose 3 was on Instagram. I was one of her followers, and we used to kind of just like talk here and there in the comments and things like that. Like I used to like all her photos. I used to try and like keep her uplifted and things like that. And then eventually it moved into the DMs, and we all know how that usually goes. But this one was pure. It was pure and wholesome. Like it was
Yeah.
like
Okay.
fully pasteurized from concentrate, like wholly strained. Like it was great. To where it was like we were talking to each other daily, nightly, like asking like, "Oh, how was your day?" Or like, "You gonna do anything exciting?" Or like, "How was work?"
Yeah.
You and your friends hanging out, like just all these like wholesome things, and it was going really great. But the main downside with it was that like there wasn't any sort of like, how do I say, like there wasn't any urge for continuity, if that makes any sense, because we had that barrier of the internet between us.
Well,
So
yeah, and that's the thing
she,
is like she
yeah,
could, let's say figuratively here,
hmm,
she could just disappear.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it got to that point actually to where she and I were talking. I thought things were going good, and I was so kind of into it for the most part to where I actually was trying to set up plans for like, hey, like I'm not a murderer. Like I can barely kill a fly. I want to try and see if we can like go get dinner sometime. Maybe I can like fly down there, catch a train. And she was into it for the most part. And then like you said, she just vanished. She just disappeared, and then come to find out, like she ended up moving along, and she found herself somebody in the real and somebody in the flesh, and they ended up becoming a thing. She told me that like, oh, I didn't think we were really anything serious. Like you were a sweet guy, but he was there for me, and he comforted me, and it was kind of like heartbreaking because I was invested in it, and I didn't
Mhm.
really notice like the barrier between the real and the
Because
fake. I
let's be
just
honest, a conversation can be the same in person as over. You can still get the
exactly
same vibe from someone. I mean, let's
exactly. Oh yeah.
also remind ourselves that it is hard sometimes to tell tone through text.
Mm.
Very hard to tell tone through
Oh yeah.
text.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Um, but that doesn't mean that you can't have a like multiple conversations that build a relationship and move it forward. So then whenever you do meet physically, that hurdle is long in the rear view mirror. Like it's gone. And like you now that you're like you already got comfortable, so now you're physically in front of each other and talking. And
Mm,
it's
mm,
pretty much the same thing. It's just now you have like physical cues essentially.
yeah.
Um I mean, in my opinion, well, in my experience, I've gotten attracted to people through messages, just by the conversations we had and what we were into, blah blah blah. But I don't know if I could pull the trigger unless we physically met first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, and
to
see,
make
that's
sure,
understandable.
because
Oh yeah.
once again, there's tons of things that happen when you're physically there that are not translated through electronic messaging, e-messaging.
E-messaging. The advent of e-messaging. And see, like speaking on that point, it's like I actually kind of have an interesting case to where there is a friend of mine from my hometown that I met her through one of my real life friends. I met her through one of my real life friends, and we started playing League of Legends together for a little bit.
Ew.
And as we, yeah, I know, I want to pretend like I didn't actually put time into that game, but like we played League, and then like the more she and I started talking, like we'd play with each other sometimes and just only each other, and like the more we started talking, I found out that she actually lives in the same hometown as us. And after some time had passed, we hung out for the first time in real life. Like we went out to get coffee, and it, in a sense, like it did, like it. How do I say? It enhanced the friendship because like we got to pick up on like the social cues or like kind of like the physical gestures and other like subtle nuances you wouldn't be able to pick up on over messaging because like you said, you can't detect tone over text. So it was like she was able to detect like hints of sarcasm in my voice. I was able to tell when she was like laughing, and it made us closer to the point where we were able to like message each other consistently and like confidently and feel more comfortable and like tight knit, I suppose, like if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Like it seems like it brought us together, and it did bridge that gap. Like things were fine when it was just like online, and it was in the cyber world, and it only seemed to get stronger when we did meet each other physically. So it's like I guess I can see that, and maybe it takes like a certain kind of person to be able to uh like just talk to each other over text messaging or over like any sort of digital messaging. Because I mean, like, not everybody can do it. And that's why it's like some people, for example, won't try like online dating. Some people
Like
strictly
Tinder.
prefer it. Yeah, some people just can't do Tinder because it's either they have the fear of like maybe they'll be a catfish, which is like a really valid fear, I suppose. It's valid. It can definitely happen. So it's like there's people who have the fear of being catfish. The people who have the fear of maybe just some people even still feel embarrassed even though it's online and things like that. So it's like I think it comes down to the person, which is kind of
Well, and there's
interesting.
always that unknown with online in general. I mean, I know we've strayed like from the friendship to the relationship standpoint for online, but like for both, online, once again, you can portray yourself however you want to portray. I mean, some people use online to get away from how they are in person
Mm.
in their actual life. Some people who only use, for instance, like a dating site or something like that, then they are going to be as real as they can if they want to be, or they could be dishonest. I mean,
Yeah.
we both know that for me, I encountered a girl that I was on and off with for 2 years on Tinder. Met her on Tinder. Liked how we messaged. Met in person. Everything was great, but there were a lot of things wrong that you could
Mm.
not ever diagnose from online dating.
Oh yeah.
From the online perspective, because
Right. Right.
if you think about it, Tinder's updated a little bit now. I think there's like trying to pretend I'm not on it right now. But there's like I think there's like 15 slots um per for your profile. So like you can add like all these pictures in your bio and stuff.
Wait, they have 15
I think
pictures now?
so. I think so. I'm tempted to just I'm just gonna check real quick.
I'm just wondering what would make you
But that's the thing,
want to
right? So
upload 15?
at that time, you judge it off of okay, there's 9. I was a little off, but still 9.
Yeah, it's still a
It used to
lot.
be 4 or 5.
I'm
And
almost certain, yeah.
so when I swiped through and originally matched with this girl, I was judging it off of 4 or 5 pictures and whatever she wrote in her bio. And if I remember correctly, her bio was just like sad art student, don't know what I want. And I didn't even really read her bio and I just swiped. And then we matched and then we texted, liked how we texted, we progressively moved forward, met in person, it was going well, and then but that's the thing is as time moves on, more things develop. And that's what
Oh
they
yeah.
always tell you about a relationship as general is like you have that honeymoon phase, but then as you consistently go, like fast forward through it, more and more things pop up that don't pop up in the beginning, and that's when you have that's the ultimatum right there is like
Mhm.
if certain things can be worked out, like compromise. If there's some things you can't deal with, there's some things that are just you don't even give a shit, so like, and that once again though, I mean, flip-flopping, like jumping over the wall here from like relationship to friendship again, it's the same
Yeah.
thing where like in the online world, you don't really encounter a lot of that stuff, and then you could meet them in person. You have gotten over that conversation hurdle, but then like there's certain things they do in person that you never saw and you may be uncomfortable with or anything like that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean like that's just a product of connectivity.
Yeah. And see, so my thoughts on it is just like I do for sure think that there are certain hurdles to it. And it's like sometimes I feel like it can't be like vice versa. Because like an earlier point that I was gonna say was, for example, like regionality seems to affect real life friends rather than online friends. Because online friends, like for example, you and I have friends from Europe, like Asia, anywhere across the world. They're online friends. You can reach them through the medium of the internet.
Hmm.
While sometimes it doesn't work like that transitioning from real friends to online friends. Because when I moved upstate, for example, all of the friends that I made in Western New York slowly, one by one, stopped connecting with me. They stopped speaking to me. They stopped like ritualistically messaging me and things like
I
that.
mean like I'm
Like,
straight honest and thinking about it, I think you are the only one I still talk to from GCC. Like consistently. I mean, we're
fair
pretty much
enough.
like a married couple. We talk daily. I mean, like it's like literally every day, multiple times a day, whether it's just memes or just a stupid conversation. We talk every day, you know.
True,
And
true.
not
Oh, yeah.
saying that like the friendships in GCC aren't like remembered and missed or anything like that, but
Yeah.
and not saying that they're not my friends either. Like not saying that if I bumped into them at the grocery store, that I would just ignore their presence. but it's not consistent. It's not like that
Mm.
consistent friendship. So,
Yeah. It's just that's just how the regionality of it all plays into it. Because some people just, I mean, it's like it's a mixture of if you were able to connect with them from the get go, and a mixture of like maybe how much they meant to you, for example. Because it's like maybe I may have overestimated how much I connected with those friends, and maybe I assumed that I was just kind of like one with them. And
mhm,
hell, maybe the onus is like on me too, because maybe I could have reached out more to them to keep a connection with them,
mhm,
but I didn't want to feel like I didn't want to feel like I needed to force it in order to like keep something going. Like you get what I mean? Like I didn't want to have to feel like I needed to really keep that drive going because I have several friends now that I've known for like a decade. Like there's one, for example, from Texas to where she occasionally likes to visit Canada, and either in my hometown or where I'm living currently, I'm on like one or the other entry points, whether it be like Toronto or Montreal. And she's been making plans to where she's like, oh, well, maybe you should come up to Texas sometime to visit. Maybe you should come to Canada and we can hang out or something like that. And it's just like, we've seen each other. We know how each other looks. So we have each other on like social media now, but we've never actually met in person. But she still, despite me knowing her for like, since I was maybe I want to say 11 or 12 because she was actually my first like
oh
online
my
girlfriend, or at
god.
least in my head. I lied to her and told her I was like 14. But like she oh yeah, and I haven't told you that yet, so I hope she never hears this. But it's one of my really embarrassing points. But she's been trying to say like, yeah, you should really come hang out and we can like go get food, we can go take walks, you can meet my friends. My She wanted me to meet her boyfriend and things like that, and it's super cool. And it's just like it takes little to no effort with her because it's like we will go maybe weeks or months at a time without speaking to each other, and then we'll just send a stupid message like, oh, I see you're playing that game, or just like we'll call each other one of like the little nicknames we thought of each other, and then we'll just pick up where we left. But it's like for some reason it seems harder to do that with like actual real friends, which is why it's like it's starting to feel more comfortable with me, especially since like I'm new to the area that I'm living in now, to have online friends rather than going out of my way to make real friends. Like I have less
Well,
expectations,
you know,
I
it's
suppose.
funny. Actually, I just remembered this, and it's perfect that we're having this. Like, we decided. Well, you decided. I'm not going to take any credit for this. That the theme for this podcast was like friendships, like real versus online. I bumped into one of my coworkers from the ski shop. Obviously, I'm the only worker in the summer. I mean, they don't
Hmm.
need multiple people there in the summer.
Right.
Excuse me. And she's, like at this point in time, we're at that age where we work with people who are going to be our age to 20 years older. And I mean, like, so
Hmm.
she's about 25, 30 years older than me, but I'd still consider her a friend. She's really cool. Like, we've gone we've gone for drinks. I mean, like, all that stuff. She bumped into me and she's asked me how I'm doing. I'm just like, just life's going on, blah blah blah. And
Right.
she's asked me, she's like, so have you been going to the bars with friends and stuff? I'm like, and I was just straight honest. It's just like, I don't have friends in this area, like
Yeah.
in Lake Placid. I don't. I really don't.
Hmm.
Um, like, I mean, I should say that I do have friends, but we don't hang out. You know what I mean? And then
They're friends in name but associates by nature kind of deal.
yeah, I mean, like, we're
Yeah.
not.
Okay.
It's not like every night being asked to go out or something, or like planning a day and consistently sticking with it.
Hmm.
That just doesn't happen. And she's telling me, she's like, well, that sucks, blah blah blah, like, and I was just like, I mean, I personally, I plan to leave this area within the next 2 years and just
Right.
start to experience. That's the one thing I miss about college is meeting new people. I mean, we had that discussion earlier that was just uh, like when you were saying that you were seeing all these new people moving in and stuff, and I said I missed that, and then you reminded me, it's just like, well, remember, that's the only really great thing about college. Like,
Hmm.
everything else sucks. Um, and that's like I can't just enroll in college to meet new people. So I mean, I would love to move out of here and meet new people. Um,
Yeah, for sure.
but like, I didn't tell her. It's just like, I'm okay with it because pretty much every night I'm communicating with multiple online friends. I mean, I stream on
Hmm.
Twitch, and I would say right now all of my concurrent viewers I would look at as acquaintances, borderline friends, if not friends.
Yeah.
Like good
Yeah.
friends, because we talk, we have each other. half of us have each other on social media. We chill out.
Mm.
I mean, so I don't really. I guess I don't really miss that social aspect. Question mark. Um,
Do you think it's like because you know them personally at this point, like that makes it feel better? Like, do you think it's because like they
I don't
like?
even like know them overly personally. I mean, obviously we've shared stuff before,
Mm,
but like, uh, I, I don't even know really how to describe it. You know, it's just like over time you communicate with these people enough where you're super comfortable talking to them. You share the same thing, like interests, shit like that, and it just evolves to instead of just someone you talk to every day who's just nothing to like a genuine friendship. And I mean,
yeah,
like, and
yeah.
these are the people obviously that that like after I hit, you know, end stream, that I'm then in a call for like another 2 3 hours playing another game or just chatting. You know,
Mm,
so like, but it's hard telling someone like for her she is of the generation where that's still kind of like a
yeah.
so I can't just be like, "Oh, I'm fine with not having any friends here because I just go home, put on a headset, look at a screen and talk to people." Like she would look at that and say that's like, "What the fuck?" You know?
Yeah, there's definitely a big generational divide with it, and I think that's like, I kind of wonder if I can segue this a bit, but it's like we talked about it recently about how ESPN, for example, is trying to slowly like push
Oh,
in like the esports
man.
scene into the regular scene, and like instead of it kind of merging together, it's like vicious.
Clashing.
Yeah, and
Oh,
it's not
man.
working
You know
well.
what? I'm going to see if I could pull up
Yeah,
some comments.
because it's a good honestly, like it's, I don't know, well maybe it comes as like a microcosmic example because it's like
It's brutal. It's some of the
it's
shit that happens is brutal. I actually haven't
mm,
seen much in the form of um like them posting about gaming recently. Like
mm,
that one post I showed you was the first one I've seen in months, and I think it's partially because of the major backlash that they were getting.
mm-hmm.
Right now, the thing that they've been posting most is mental health in sports, which I think is something that needs to be addressed because
Yeah,
because I mean, DeMar DeRozan from the Toronto Raptors,
right,
um,
right.
big dude, like big famous dude, lots of money, and everyone's like
Mm,
questioning, like you can buy whatever you want. Why are you sad? Money doesn't make you happy. I could be rich right now and still in the same mental place that I am. I mean, I still have like we've talked about that before. I have bad days. I think everyone has bad days, especially when you are struggling with something daily. Um,
mm.
same thing with Kevin Love. Um, it's just these are just big athletes who just because they have money, people think that everything's perfect, and that's not the case. It's just not the case.
Yeah, see that's kind of one of the other generational things too, I think. 'Cause I noticed like a lot of my friends on social media, like high school friends, for example, they
Wait,
tend to believe
can
that
I cut
like,
you off for 1 second?
oh yeah, go for it, go for it.
ESPN just signed a deal for the TV rights to the Overwatch Esports League. Can you
I don't know how
imagine?
I feel
Can
about
you
that.
imagine how many people are going to be fucking livid? I'm actually on the ESPN Esports Twitter page right now, and they literally have stuff that's set up. I mean, you've watched Sportsnet, right?
Yeah.
They have it set up in the same type. It's literally like I'm looking at a graph right now. It's like Fissure versus Miro on Winston, and like you could just replace the
Oh,
text
Miro's a
with like
god. I just have to plug that. Miro's a
like
god.
you could just like switch this like to like LeBron James versus Kevin Durant on three
Oh yeah.
point shooting or something and just switch that. It's the same type of graph. I wonder if there's some mad people who are commenting on this stuff.
See, I can't even imagine that because it's like the thing is, I think with gaming and popular culture, right? I think gaming won't truly come catch on with like the masses and be normalized until it's like another case of like the Fortnite happens and keeps happening to where it's like celebrities are jumping on board. Like you got Drake making like, yeah, this is normal because that's almost like what it was like with Like I think it's Michael B. Jordan, for example. Like he helped in like normalizing anime. Like he started talking about in interviews like, yeah, I love anime. Like these are my
Well,
favorite
Gordon
anime.
Hayward from I almost said Utah Jazz. Whoops, Boston Celtics. He is openly like discussing that he has a gaming setup where in the off season he just binges League of Legends or Overwatch. Like he literally binges. Like I mean, and this is a guy who is like 250 pounds of muscle who dunks on people
Oh yeah.
and like averages 20 points a night and it makes millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars, probably hundreds of millions of dollars. And he enjoys games, but people just try to push that to the side, because
Yeah.
gaming is a taboo.
And it's confusing because it's like nothing really seems to catch on or be okay until like somebody famous says, and then everybody's just like, oh yeah, that's cool. Because it's like if you look on, well, I mean, I don't know if it's so much as for you as it is for me. I mean, like I'm not. There's some people that I know that genuinely like anime and like online games and
See,
things
and
like
you know
that,
what's
but
funny
they're
also?
like,
I hate anime. I love gaming. I don't like
yeah,
anime.
yeah,
I've tried to get
yeah. I
into
mean,
it. I have yet to find the anime that. So, long story short, anime sucks and you should stop watching it.
no, I mean to each their own, to each their own. Like it's like so it's like there's people who are kind of just trying to be into things because they're in and popular, but they're
Mm-hmm.
not really helping with the cause of like normalizing things. Cause it's like I'm happy now that I can be like, yeah, I watch anime and people will be like, oh, what kind or which one? Like which one's your favorite? Like back when I used to get like just harassed and things like that, people would call me kind of lame, just like, oh, this nerd's watching anime. And it's just like, yeah, I like it, it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
But like now that celebrities like and celebrities talk about it, it's become this like cool pop culture like hype beast thing,
It's
I
cool to
guess,
be
that's
a
catching
nerd.
on. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is essentially. To it's just like we used to get kind of like looked at strangely, and now that it's happening and becoming popular, everybody's just like, yeah, this is okay, this is cool,
Mm-hmm.
and people want to be like that. And it's just like I'm wondering if that'll ever happen with the online friends things, because if you think about it, and for the viewers also, think about what do they call it? Pen pals. Think about pen pals, for example. It's essentially the same thing. You write a letter, given there's more of a time lag, but given you,
Really?
you write a
I
letter,
thought my letter
like
just like disappeared in my hands and reformed in someone else's, like a text
I mean,
message.
as a kid, I had no concept of how the postal system worked whatsoever.
Also, I
So I
will
might as
say
well have imagined.
I have some comments up here
Yeah.
from ESPN, but we'll continue this and then we'll bounce back to that.
Right, right. So it's like pen pals, you get assigned somebody that's either in an entirely different country or somebody that's in a different state or maybe in the same
Mm-hmm.
hometown, whatever. And you write to them, you guys eventually learn each other's like favorite hobbies, favorite snacks, favorite colors, what kind of crayons you like to eat, things like that. And you'll be sending it back to each other, just like how you would with an online friend. But I guess because it's done in more of a tradition, like, and I keep doing air quotes, I don't know what I'm doing, but like, I guess because you like message them in more of a traditional fashion, it's okay. But
Mm-hmm.
there's still this like uh concept where it's just like technology evil, fire bad, me like stone, me like rock, ooga booga, like stuff like that, to where it's like people still can't adjust and people still frown on technology, and it's like I'm wondering when that stigma will disappear.
Fucking ooga booga.
It's just that's how people are. It's like there's like people are still afraid to adjust to like the current times, and it's just like if you break things down, you'll see that they're similar to things before because everything that we have now always it has a predecessor.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's been like built up from something else.
Mm-hmm.
Pen pal messaging became instant messaging, became online dating, became whatever else.
Yeah.
That it all builds up, and people need to kind of normalize it one way or another. Maybe at some point it'll happen.
Well, so that's what. So I have these comments up. So this is on a Yahoo article, a Yahoo Finance article to be specific. The title of the article is "Esports says ESPN says esports is not a fad." Okay, so that's ESPN, the title channel, saying esports is not going to be a fad. It's going to be mainstream. It's here to stay. Okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 comments up right now. Okay, and I'll just roll through these in no particular order, and you can tell me how many are positive. 8 comments, sorry.
Oh boy.
All right, first one. ESPN thinks they're still relevant too, so that one's fine because that one's just like that one's thinking that like well, ESPN has actually been dying because there's just way easier ways to get your news for sports and
Mm.
all this stuff.
Mm.
But here's the next. This is where shit just like starts hitting the fan. Next, ESPN is going to show old ladies playing slot machines in Reno. Where does it end? I stick to the NFL and MLB networks because I like sports. Gaming might be competitive, but it isn't sports. Not a fad, and also not a sport.
Mm.
Sport injury of the future, carpal tunnel syndrome. I actually like that one because that's funny.
It's kind of funny. It's a little witty, yeah.
Um, I'm not interested in watching someone play a video game. Maybe you're not, but literally millions of people are. How many people are on Twitch at any given time?
I wait 1 second. Do I have an alarm going off? So I think it's like so. Oh, it's just people outside. Whoops. So I think it's like with that, it's like there's. It's making me wonder. One, if ESPN is trying to just cash in on the fad like a little late. Like now they're trying to just like swoop on it and try and like see if they can rake in the money because like you said like esports there's millions of people like the and I don't have like the statistics I could probably pull it up but like think of like League of Legends you have people looking forward to like the championship matches all the time like there's people who have their favorite players their favorite champions and they want to see them used professionally like there's people who they rent out entire arenas
Well, Barclays Center
just for it.
in
Mm,
oh, where is it? Is it in Brooklyn? I think it's in Brooklyn.
I
Because it's home
believe
of the
so.
Brooklyn. It's home of the Brooklyn Nets. I just don't know if it's in Brooklyn. That's where a lot of the esports stuff happens, especially recently.
Mm,
And like that's an NBA arena, and it's sold out.
yeah.
It's
Oh yeah.
sold out. But I mean, like I'm looking at Twitch right now. The top three games right now are Dota 2, Fortnite, League of Legends. No surprise there. Okay, Dota
Mhm.
2, 400,000 viewers. Fortnite,
Easily.
212,000 viewers. League of Legends, 100,000 viewers. Between all those, okay, that is 700,000 people watching just right there, and those are those are three games. Those are three games. Okay, that's
And
not
see,
and and there's 9 games in the top row. If I added all those together, we'd be close to 1 million viewers just right there.
easily. And
There
I mean, it's like I don't understand how long
ah!
people are going to be turning a blind eye to that. Because like I pulled it up now, and apparently more than 80 million people watched the World or the League of Legends World Championship 2017 semifinal. That was
All
just
right, so
last
that
year.
was
80 million
League of
people.
Legends, right?
Yeah. And it's just like that's more concurrent, like that's more like straightforward viewers, and like I'm pretty sure any sporting event might have had, in like
So
this
that's what I'm doing. Ready?
like recently.
So NBA, the NBA finals. Not saying so. I love the finals. Don't worry. Like I love sport. Like that's the thing, right? I love video games, but I
Hmm.
also have played sports since I was little. I love soccer. I love watching basketball and baseball and football, and I love skiing. And let's see here. So you said 80 million?
80 million. Yep.
Let me see if I can get a number here. Uh,
Because it's like I'm pretty sure it's like it's a different kind of mainstream than people are used to. Because
well,
with
it's just like
mainstream,
okay, you go back to let's throw it back to like 1930.
sure.
Do you think people would have imagined like almost 100 million people watching a sports game? They'd be like, "Why are you watching the sport when you could go play it? Here's a
Yeah,
glove.
it can go
Here's a bat.
outside.
Let's hit the ball." It's just
Oh
like,
yeah.
it's just like, it's just what happens.
You know, and see, that actually makes me think something kind of interesting because people do say that often. People still say that about Twitch, for example. People will say, why are you watching a game when you can be playing the game? And it's just like, yeah, Joe, I could be asking you, why are you watching football when you can be on the field with your friends right now, but instead you're here doing this? It's the same
You know
thing.
what's funny? So you said so 80 million. Do you know if that number was one of the was that total for the tournament or just one game?
So I
I wouldn't
believe
be shocked if it was one game, honestly.
so. It was just the semifinals with the teams
Just just the semifinals. Okay.
SK Telecom versus Royal Never Give Up.
So,
Two very popular teams.
the 2018 NBA Finals, okay, had about 17 million per game. There was 4 games. You do the math
Mm.
there. They are under 80 million. Under.
Easily,
And that's
easily.
the one game of League of Legends attracted more
Mm.
people than the entire NBA Finals. Granted, this was the 4th Finals in a row that was the Warriors versus the Cavs, but that's
Mm.
the thing. You still are watching Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, LeBron James. Like for
Mm.
3 of those, Kyrie Irving,
Yeah.
Kevin Love. You have all these big basketball players, and I mean, like, it's still crazy. Granted, I
And
will
it,
say so. Like the 2016 finals, where the Cavs performed that amazing 3-1 comeback, averaged. You could tell Game 1 was 20 million, Game 2 was 19 million, Game 3 was 17 million. Sorry, the average was 20 million. Game 1 was
mm.
19, Game 2 was 17, Game 3 was 16. Then you could tell by Game 4 people thought that nothing was going to happen, so 16 again. Game 5 was 20, Game 6 was 20, and then Game 7, which I mean even I was watching it and I kind of followed the finals because I thought the Cavs were done. 31 million. But that's the thing is
Yeah.
like the only reason that increased is because suddenly the Cavs are back in it. But you have League of Legends where it's 80 million. 80 million. Like, I mean, I don't blame ESPN, or I just saw another article about Disney putting in money for it. Like, I don't blame it at all because that is a
It's
jackpot.
like it's gonna be the biggest cash cow for a while. And it's like it's making me wonder if it's like if the issue with this is just like American centricism. Like think for I guess in like a real example, how a lot of Americans refuse to acknowledge soccer as a sport because they either A can't understand it, B can't seem to realize that there's things outside of this country that exist and that are popular.
Well, it is
Like
growing. I will give it credit.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like recent times, like yeah, it's starting to grow a bit more, but it's just like there's some people who won't acknowledge soccer as like one of the most played and most popular sports in the world when it's literally played in just about every other country since like people were children, and it is here, but just not as much of a following. Like if you have some people, they'll say like, "Oh, well, football has to be the most popular sport,"
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like I'm wondering if that's just like an American mentality, to where it's just like some of us are
Well, if you
resistant to
think about it,
change,
if you
or
think about it, when you win the finals in the NBA, you win the Super Bowl, you're world champions. You're not United States champions. You're not North,
well,
like you're world champions.
Well, yeah, but that title is just. Don't you think it's kind of dumb? Because it's like, why are you? Why is it a world champion title when
When no
it's?
one from the world, well, I mean, granted, there are people from all around the world who play in these leagues. Well, not as much
Yeah,
football, more at NBA, but still,
yeah.
like, you're playing all United States American teams besides Toronto. Like
It's really easy to win a world title when you're
the
the
rest of the
only
world
one.
isn't competing.
Yeah, when it's just you and you're fighting against
Man, could
yourself.
you imagine the United States is like 100-0 in the World Championships? That's just crazy. We're
Unbeatable,
just
they're
we're just
godly.
we're too good.
See, and that just, it's things like that that just, I can't understand it. Why it's like we can watch things like this and get hyped over that, but we can't accept the fact that like the virtual world or the virtual things or the things that come from the internet are important or powerful.
It's was controversial this NBA season. Every NBA team, or I think half the NBA teams,
Hmm.
has a esports affiliate. They
Like
actually did a draft, and they have players who play the newest version of 2K, 5-on-5,
hmm. Wait,
in a 2K game.
what do you, so what do you mean by affiliate? Like they have somebody that's
They
kind
are
of like
literally tied to
sponsored?
so Los Angeles Clippers
Okay.
have a Clippers esports 2K team.
Oh, so they okay. So like okay, they
Washington
have their
Wizards.
own
I don't know if their
professional
names.
sponsored.
I don't know if they're specifically, but they represent the Wizards when they play in 2K. They wear the Wizards jersey.
Hmm.
When they're sitting there, they have Wizards paraphernalia. Like
Yeah.
that's their affiliate. It's like the D League or G League. I guess it's called G League now. You okay?
No, it's just that they're having like a full blown party out there right now, and like there's no audio leak, but it's just like damn son.
A party?
But
Invite
yeah,
me, man.
there's a party going on in the courtyard, and it's just like they're playing really old tunes that I'm not really
Oh,
feeling right
there's
now.
old
It
tunes. That's not
yeah,
cool.
it's like it's throwing me off my game right now. But
Is there
it's like
booze?
What?
Can you tell from the window if there's booze?
I mean, I'd like to think so. Still not enough to
That.
motivate me to go down there.
Oh, see, I would be down there in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I want it to just be quiet. I want to just go like, and
This is
you,
gonna be
young
your.
riddance.
This is gonna be your life for the next 4 months, 5 months.
No, I mean I'm adjusted to it, I guess, but it's like it's interrupting my online friend time, well, online real friend time.
What about your roommates? What if they interrupt it?
Well, like if they interrupt me, I mean, so here's how it was for me last semester actually, and it's like a real working example. So it's like my roommate from last semester, he streamed sports on Twitch, and he had like a pretty okay following before he just dropped off the face of the earth with it. But he didn't really seem to understand why I much preferred to be in my room, like talking with my online friends rather than hanging out with him and his friends playing like games on the console with them. Like he didn't really understand why I much preferred that when it was just kind of like it was a group of friends that I didn't otherwise know, and it's a lot harder for me to make breakthrough uh a breakthrough in like a physical social group than it is for me to make a breakthrough with an online social group. And I'm wondering if it's just like if it's because of like social anxieties present. Because concerning both, I do have anxieties. However, it feels a lot more real when it's in the real, I guess. Like I didn't really
Mm,
want to join them as much as I would have, say, if a friend invited me to play like Counter Strike, I would probably jump in that a
mhm.
lot more easily if I didn't know the people still.
Mhm. Yeah, it's tough.
And I mean, it's kind of I lost my point. So
Damn kids.
yeah, see, it's just I keep hearing the tunes and I'm trying to like piece the songs, but it's like it's making me wonder if it's just like maybe we seem to be more understanding of online friends and more welcoming to online friends because of like social anxieties that we may have about the real world, or maybe we're just using it as like a replacement or a surrogate or something like that. Because I know like
I
I
mean, I'm not like. I'm totally honest when I say I don't replace like my real life
hmm,
social stuff with
yeah.
online. If anything, it keeps it tuned. Cause so like
Hmm.
every week, I go to the bar on Saturday and get pissed drunk, and like that's like my social
Yeah.
time, and like I look at that as like I work 7 to 10 hours a day, and then I come home and I stream for another 6 because I'm trying to grow that brand, and so like and then on my days off, Tuesday, Wednesday, no one's going to the bar. If I go to the bar now, I'm gonna be looked at as like an alcoholic, so I don't go.
Hmm.
So then I just stay home and I stream to grow the brand. And then Saturdays, I do work during the day, and then as soon as
Right.
that's done, instead of going home, I go to the bar. And that's like my physical social hour. But if you think about it, I have social hour every day, every other day besides that, from my beautiful chair in my beautifully dirty apartment. Like
Right. Right.
so.
Okay, so based off of that, since you're like both sides of the coin, do you think that like so you have a healthy balance apparently to where you go out and you'll interact with people in the real world.
Sure.
Do you think like the do you think that like the fact that online friends versus real friends debate is going on because there's people who can't do that, like people who are unwilling to do
No,
that?
I just think there's people who don't understand it. I just,
Just like they don't understand like just why you would want to have online friends or like how it works or something like that or
I think both. I think they don't
hmm,
understand why you would want to have a friend that you can only speak to and never hang out with, technically, like in the real.
yeah.
Understanding how it works, I would be shocked if someone like I'm gonna give like the range like to 10 or 15 years older than us.
Mm,
I would be shocked if those people don't understand how it works. Anyone
yeah.
older than that, I totally get it. Um, but I mean, to also put in perspective, right? So I'm gonna use from March to now as a
Mm,
time period. Actually, I'll give it a little more fair because I haven't been going to the bar since March. I've been going to the bar since May. So May to August, I have made more and consistent online friends than going to the bar.
Mm.
And I mean, I have, and like to combat another point of like, while you're at the bar, you'll probably never see these people again. I've met locals there and had hours of conversation,
Yeah.
exchanged numbers, and neither of us text, or like
Yeah.
one will text and the other will ignore. Like, and so like, uh,
I mean, I think it's kind of like because there's not as much of an incentive to contact them, you know.
hmm
So it's like, say, so in person, you talk, you exchange numbers, and it's kind of like a pleasantry to do so. But you don't have any incentive besides like, oh, maybe I'll bump into them again. I don't need to text them or something. Whereas online friends, you sometimes keep in contact with them because there is the incentive of like, oh, well, if I message him, maybe I'll be able to play a game with him. Maybe I'll be able to like Discord call him or
yeah, and
something
I
like
mean,
that.
like there's the people, like the bar that I visit the most. Some of the waiting staff knows me. The owner
Hmm.
knows me. The bartender who's always there knows me. Like to the point where I don't, like I don't even have to order. I sit at the bar, and by the time I've sat down, there's a nice, cold, beautiful amber
Just sliding on by.
glass of switchback in front of me. Um, and not saying that I haven't had fun going out, just like not, like man, this town is such a wedding destination or bachelor or bachelorette party destination where I've
Hmm.
had nights where I'll just be chilling out drinking, not expecting too much, and then a bachelor party will roll in, and then one of them will talk to me, and then I'll just do the same answers I do every time, which is like they ask me like, "How's it going? Are you local?" And I'll say yes, and then they ask if I'm used to bachelor parties, and I say yes, and then they're like, "What do bachelor parties usually do for locals?" And I say they buy me a shot, and then they buy me shots. So like, and I get to party with these people that I'll never see again. And for them,
Hmm.
they just get to have a tale of how they met this one cool local who they got to get pissed drunk with before, uh, the guy, whoever the unlucky bachelor is, gets chained to another person. So so like, I have like those instead of a one night stand, I have the one night friends. Where
Yeah,
you
and I
just,
mean,
and I mean that happened in college too. I mean,
hmm.
I went to Rochester all the time and partied my ass off, and I
Oh
met
yeah,
these people who I would have amazing conversations with. We were like best of buds that entire night. Wouldn't
oh
speak
yeah.
to him again.
And see that's an interesting point because it's like that's kind of why I personally think I like online friends more than real friends because it's just like real friends there's always a risk that like yeah you guys are just gonna be like one and done like it's like they're like I've also like there's people that I've met at the bar like we've talked we really clicked like we'd be hanging out having fun cracking jokes we'd exchange numbers we'll be like yeah we can go to the bar this day or let's go this day and it's just like we may do it like once or twice and then it will fall off like when I was back in my hometown there were people that I met at this one bar that it was my first time there it was pretty cool but I went there, and there are people that I was talking to. Like I befriended the bartender. She was really nice. Like she introduced me to people that are coming in, and then I would try to make plans with the people, and they either wouldn't follow through, they wouldn't respond, or any other reason.
hmm
Whereas if it's like at least with my online friends, there's a high. I don't know if it's just the people that I surround myself with online, but it seems like there's less potential for me to be let down because usually they're always up to do something, whether it's just like simple talking, simple checking in, or
hmm
hey, you want to play a game? Hey, you want to stream a movie together? Like something like that. Like it's just there's a convenience factor that's slowly making me appreciate it more, and I'd have to admit that it might be a part of my social anxieties because like for example the fact that there's a party going on outside in the courtyard is scared me just a little bit just a teensy bit because it's like I think that like I'd like to go out there but I don't know how I'd fare out there or as example like
If there's
if I were
no
to
one
do like
there, like
yeah
it takes me that I know, it takes me literally like a drink
mm,
or two to get social. You know what I mean? To break
yeah
like you look like the dad who's just like who's waiting for like something to go wrong so you could call the cops, like just peering
yeah
through
I
your
want them to
blinds.
cut it out damn it like I want to start throwing stuff out there there's food, maybe I'll grab something, but I'm gonna retreat back to my hidey hole like
just
that.
like
That's
put your hood up and just like have your hands in your pockets like some kind of secret agent like bumping shoulders when people grab the food and they're just like leave.
yeah. I'll just come out of my room like some sort of like trash gremlin and just start grabbing hot dogs or something. Honestly, that's all I want. Like I don't want any of that interaction or
Oh,
whatever
that's
the
what
hell
it is
else.
then. It's probably one of those like welcome weekend parties.
I think so. I think so. And it's all right.
It's
I mean,
prepping all the freshmen for what they think is going to be a blast. In reality, you're going to procrastinate on work until you think that there's no hope and then
yep.
scrape by the skin of your teeth. And then
Oh
when
yeah.
you're about to graduate, you drink a six pack of tall boys over the course of a couple days and plan an art show. And it works out because you win $200. Not speaking from experience or anything, but
I mean, that was really thorough, but I understand. Okay, it's just quick processing, quick example skills. I gotcha.
I still can't believe that like I set that thing up and I somehow won because I was not in a great state of mind that entire setup.
Some people are just able to function like that, I guess. Some people can do it. Some people can pull it off. I can barely even function when I'm just like
But
normally here.
I think you were the one who told me that I wasn't functioning because I thought I was passing it off and you told
No,
me I
you
was
were
not
like
passing it off.
you were functioning in like the crudest sense of the word. You were able to walk, you were kind of able to speak and like move, but like there was something vacant. Like there was a vacant look in your eyes. Like it was like I was able to speak to you and you'd say things back, but it's like it wasn't really you, you know? Like it's like you weren't entirely there, but you were there all the same. It was an interesting experience. It was
I
something.
thought I was being smooth. I thought no one would notice and like literally I talked with you for 5 seconds and you not only said that you could smell it, but that I was just off.
You weren't there, but everybody else was interacting somehow perfectly fine. Like our professor was able to talk to you, and she was like, "Okay, yes, brilliant idea. You're doing great." And then you're just like, you're just like, I'm doing it. I'm making it through the day." Meanwhile, absolutely floored, semi-functioning.
don't 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 drink, kids.
And see that's the other side of college people don't seem to really get. They all just like I'm pretty sure the
Well,
freshmen out there they're
they
building up camaraderie and things like that.
all they think about, I guarantee, unless you're a straight A student, they think about what parties they're going to attend. Especially you know the school that you go to is a party school. You know that, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Like my mom's boyfriend went there and the only reason he picked there is because it is a party school. It's like one
The
of the
f-
top
the
50
frats
party
are kind of
schools.
nuts here.
It's
Like
fucking
there's
crazy.
oh yeah, and it's like I didn't really realize it until like last semester was closing out to where you would see people nobody was studying. Like there weren't that many people studying. There were people who were more out and about. Like all the girls, almost every single night, they would be in their like little like herds where they'd be kind of shuffling about, going to the bar and things like that. Everybody was partying, and it was interesting to see. Honestly, I didn't even know I'd jumped into that until it was like I actually saw like the frats with like the banners hanging off the
Oh
buildings
yeah.
and like all that stuff and like they were like doing like charity events and like there's girls with like the official like jackets, and it's just like, damn, you guys are deep. Like you guys are rolling
Mm.
deep. I don't know if I could ever do that. Like if I ever joined a frat, it would probably be like
I
one of the
never
most like
wanted to join
low
a frat.
key. Yeah, I don't know. I don't. I mean, like it's like I guess it looks good on your resume, folks, but
Oh,
like
I
I
just
don't
thought
really.
about the whole drinking thing.
The jackets are cool.
See, I'm not
Like the
down. I'm straight up not down with hazing. You know what I mean? Like that's
oh yeah,
like, and I was at a couple parties. One sticks out in my head in Rochester where everyone got so stupidly drunk that they decided that they were going to have a slap boxing tournament, and the ones that
sounds
they
like Rochester.
and like this is early on in my first year and I only knew two people at the party, but I was making friends pretty quick, and this one guy came over and was telling me to slap fight the biggest guy in the room, and I literally turned around to him. Well, I told you this story, but I turned around to him and was just like, no, like I'm not doing that shit, like. And
Yeah,
then he threatened to beat me up, and I was just like, "You can beat me up all you want. Like, I don't want to slap box someone that I know is gonna pummel me in the dirt. You guys just want to see
that's
a kid get broken, and I'm not about it."
Yeah, that sounds like Rochester. We just do stupid shit, and like there's just, I mean, that just sounds like frats in general to me. Because like if I'm
And
honest,
that's the
I just
thing.
see.
And that's why I don't think I could ever join like a frat because like I'm
Mm,
down with just going to a party. I mean, obviously now I can buy and bring my own booze, but at the time I was drinking whatever. I mean, allegedly was drinking everywhere I could get my hands on, because I was underage. But
let's put that one off the records.
um, but it's just like I just think a lot of those freshmen they come in and they think that school is going to be partying because you know what, this does a whole fucking 360, stirring that 360 up, boy, back to social media. Whoa, social
Oh,
media.
holy!
um where you only see the good side. You don't see you don't see them posting on social media like, man, studying's great. Oh
Oh
shit!
yeah,
I just got a 95 on my test, and you know why? Because I didn't go to that party. I studied. Like you see fucking people like locking arms and hitting their jewels, and then getting a shot of
oh yeah,
Fireball.
oh
So
yeah.
like that's it.
Because they're trying to build this like weird sense of like camaraderie or something like that. That like some people, most people at this point, like I guess once you've like been through the fire and the flames, like you realize you realize that it's not all real. There is no like big sense of camaraderie. And I mean, I guess in some cases there are, because like in our old community college, it did feel like it was a big community, but not so much in the larger
I mean,
universe.
we ourselves had at the time. I'm not gonna say that we're together anymore because that would be a lie, but we were tight at least for the first year. Second
Hmm.
year was when we decided that we were gonna slit each other's throats in our sleep.
Oh
Specifically
yeah,
one that I really wanted to stuff like a pig, but no biggie. But like
I get that.
like there, I visited a friend of mine from high school and when he was in Brockport, and he literally has a group of 14 friends, guys and
Oh yeah,
girls, all included, just like wherever one goes, they all go and they all chill. They all go to these parties, blah blah blah. And then basically, when one goes off on their own, they bring back like another two or three to the group, and then boom,
oh yeah.
like it just explodes. And I mean, we didn't have that partially because of GCC. And then now, for instance, for you that you're in a bigger, you've already experienced. Like I think it would have been different if we went to like a 4-year school right off the bat, but
Just
going to a
oh yeah,
2-year
just
school, getting that straight degree where you knew you weren't going to be getting too shit faced that often, like when you get to a 4-year school, it's out of your system.
oh yeah,
I mean, like, granted, I think if I got to a 4-year school now, it probably wouldn't be out of my system. I'd probably just be, I'm hopping to the bar every Saturday. I'd probably be going to a party every Saturday. But like,
yeah,
I'm not,
sure.
I'm not like, I'm definitely not how I was freshman and sophomore year, where I was like, literally, I'll be straight honest, especially freshman year before I met the She Devil, I was like looking for whoever I could flirt with and how much I could drink. And that's just how college was advertised. I mean, I even like, I've known people, won't name names, that
Mm.
literally put a breakup date for their relationships that they've had anywhere from like a year, like 6 months to a year to 2 years, from
Oh yeah,
through high school, breakup date when they get to college,
I've heard of like a couple of, I think a couple of my friends might have done the same thing actually.
just because they want to be free.
Yep.
I mean, of course, we've all met the ones who don't do that. I mean, we both know one that like got married the year after college, and that was like their 7th or 8th year of dating,
Hmm.
which is fucking nuts.
Yeah, like they're the legends for being able to pull that off.
But it's like I feel bad for those poor freshman souls. That's why you gotta bring me up there. I gotta come up,
Are you
and
gonna
then
educate them?
yeah.
I mean, it's they'll learn soon enough because it's like it'll just probably be like how it was when we were there. Because like how you said, like I remember it was my first year
Oh,
given. It was like it was.
your mic is fucking
Oh,
up.
let me see.
Oh, now you're good.
Nice. So like in the first year, like I was kind of the same. Like given I didn't really have like any sort of sense of confidence or self-esteem whatsoever, but like I wanted to try and like reinvent myself. Like I wanted to be a new person who strayed away from like having only like, and I guess I'm also kind of bringing us full circle. I
Hmm.
wanted to move from having only online friends as a kid who never grew up with any friends in his local neighborhood, never grew up with any friends like that he hung out with consistently in middle school. Like I even in middle school, like I would message my friends online only. I didn't really talk to them as much as I used to physically, or as much as I
Hmm.
should have rather. So when first year of college came, I wanted to try and reinvent myself. I wanted to like maybe see if I could go out to do some sort of partying, see if I can meet some sort of new people, maybe even talk to a couple
That
girls or
well,
something.
yeah, that was like the way to socialize. I mean,
Mm,
like that was your make or break. I'm like, and I'm not saying like you in general. I'm saying like that is definitely the way to find new people.
mm.
I mean, like I ended up making some more friends in Rochester, who actually like obviously didn't go to the same school, but when the two people who I did know would invite me to the party, like those guys would get genuinely like happy that I was going to be included because I may not be in the same school, but they still want to chill. And like,
Right.
I mean, if you think about it, my GCC kind of like it was weird because I had like my GCC friends and then my Rochester friends, and we never had any meshing. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Like
mm.
it was like I'm either staying and remember certain unnamed roommate um uh was like, how can I put this? Like would get actually jealous that I was going to Rochester to party with another friend group and not
Mm.
stay and listen to horror movies being conducted in the other room.
Ah, yeah. So it's like I think with that is it's because you were somehow living out the fantasy that they wish that, well, not even fantasy, the reality that they wish that they were living through, that they were otherwise unable to get at our two-year university because they either weren't in the groups that were doing the partying, or they didn't know anybody that was partying whatsoever. Because we, like in our little friend group, like we took several gambles actually, and you were one of the ones that actually ended up working when like we all started hanging out with you together, because we tried to bring in more people, but it just wasn't working too well, because like he wanted to have like a party atmosphere to we can like host big parties, we can drink, we can do this, we can do that, and it ended up just not working, and you're like one of the people that ended up sticking, so we just kept it close knit and just partied with that group. But I think still with him there was this desire, and maybe that's just with two-year
Well, remember,
universities,
remember
like,
the second year. One of the things was like, "Oh, we're gonna be partying. We're gonna go places, and we're gonna party."
mm,
But we didn't. Never did.
no. Not at
I
all.
did, and I mean,
I
like,
no.
you didn't really want to. You and and another roommate didn't want to,
Hmm.
but like, you know, I wanted to because it was my college experience. I wouldn't take the only
Yeah.
thing I would take back from my 2 years of GCC, honestly, getting on Tinder.
Fair enough.
Straight up,
Hmm.
I worst decision of my life because it opened up this avenue of meeting people that I would have never knew existed.
Right. Right.
And I met one that I wish I didn't know existed, and it fucking threw me for a double loop de loop, and it was brutal. So, some would
So
argue it's still
yeah.
semi brutal, but
Hmm.
we are at the 1 hour and 13-minute mark, and here is one thing I want to introduce to you because we actually
Oh.
have a
Hmm.
couple comments from episode 1. So let me pull those guys up. One of them is shitting on us for our movie knowledge. The other one is a good point from a good friend. So I'm gonna open that up real quick. I'm gonna have them fade in some sick ass post editing, post production in the middle of the screen. It's gonna be right
Somewhere like
here.
in this here.
Yeah. Um. So this is probably gonna be something that's gonna progress. I mean, it depends
Hmm.
on how many comments happen. Blah blah blah. Um. Who knows? But our first comment from from
From. You're
comes
doing great,
from
sweetie.
our good friend Call, who is shitting on us. How can you both not have seen Forrest Gump? Hashtag unsubbed. I don't know.
I'm,
I
I honestly didn't know it was a. thing until the jokes started coming up, and
See,
then
like
I just
I've seen bits and pieces. I have not actually sat down and watched it beginning to end. I mean, I think we all know Lieutenant Dan in the
yeah.
wheelchair and the ping pong. We know Run Forest Run. We know Box of Chocolates. We
I know the
know,
quotes and the memes, but I don't
and
care
then you
about the movie
know
otherwise.
Tom
Really.
Hanks like shaking hands with a million presidents.
Oh yeah.
But besides that, like I don't know how it ends. I don't know
I
how it begins. I
It's one
don't
of just those classics that I never really bothered to pay attention to because I don't really watch movies that much, anyways, unless they're like good old anime
exactly.
movies.
And our second comment comes from our friend Rhino. He says, I totally understand about the Facebook stuff. I finally started to use Facebook this month. Also, I corrected it for you, Ryan. I know that you don't like spelling things right because the
Ryan just
language
doesn't
is
care.
the
Ryan's
English
hardcore.
English is too far below your standing, and I love you for it. So, I finally started to use Facebook this month, and I'm already giving up. It's just everyone in their best moments or in their worst moments. Not really a fan of all the attention grabbers. And that is a good point. We touched on
Mm.
that today. We touched on that in our first episode where social media actually I did a tweet. I did a Twitter tweet on my Twitter where I last night I was just kind of thinking about it, and even as an avid user of social media, I can 100% say it's terrible for mental health slash expectations. Wish more was said about it because it's the truth.
Mm.
Like people expect certain things to happen because of social media. People base their happiness or their unhappiness on social media, and it's brutal. And I mean, I think, and you could probably agree on this that we're going
Mm.
to be seeing a lot more studies on it.
Oh yeah.
Maybe some regulation stuff. We don't know, but I mean, like if stuff, if like depression, anxiety, suicide, stuff like that gets linked to it.
I mean, I could honestly see some sort of like a quick point on it. I guess is I could see some kind of like China policies being put under, maybe like South Korea, because I think
And
China actually Facebook's blocked there.
yeah, see, I don't know much about their policies about it. I think China
Mm.
has their own social media
Yeah.
service, but it's monitored. It's like
Oh yeah.
government restricted monitored.
And it's just, I mean, like, I wouldn't mind any sort of regulation in it because, I mean, just thinking about high school, for example, and even now, for example, a lot of people let social media dictate their personality, how they treat people, how they act. They're like, if they have like this circle jerk following on social media, they will feel like they are empowered to say whatever they want, do what they want, and they will act like an alter ego or something like that. They'll have a different persona, or they will try and act out specifically for social media. Like, think about all the World Star videos. People would get in fights just so they can be on World Star.
First thing that would happen in a fight is you pull out your phone. I mean, like, there's no such thing as helping someone anymore. It's like, how many
Not
views
anymore.
am I gonna get on social media?
People, they just wanted to do it for World Star, and it's like I will probably hate social media despite being an avid user. I hate it
Exactly. I
nonetheless.
hate it. I
Like,
if I
oh
if
yeah,
I like I'll be straight up honest. If I could get rid of it tomorrow,
hmm.
I would. And technically I can. I'm gonna fully admit that. I can. I could just
Oh
deactivate
yeah, it's
things. And
possible. Yeah.
I've deactivated my Facebook multiple times. I've gotten rid of
Hmm.
Instagram for a while. I've gotten rid of Snapchat for a while, Twitter for a while. But the thing is, a combination of being able to communicate like for you, like for even though you and I talk every day, we talk over Messenger.
Right.
We don't text. I don't even think you know my new phone number.
I only text my parents at this
And
point.
that's the
If
thing.
I'm
I
like,
only text my parents and like and a couple other
yeah.
people, like maybe two other people. Like,
Hmm.
most of my communication goes through Snap or Messenger. So
Hmm.
and then Instagram, I used to be the type who would like scroll through the feed and see all these people who were like who had taken about 5 million beach pictures, and then are posting them once every 3 months to try and tell us that they're still happy and wish they could go back. Blah blah
Good
blah. It's
old
just like,
summertime.
yeah, it's just like, I mean, like it's the date of this recording is August 22nd. I mean, from pretty much the end of August until November, we're going to see all these people who, during the month of August, were saying can't wait for sweatshirts and sweatpants weather. They're going to be saying during September, August, November,
Hoodie season.
can't. Yeah,
Proud
they're
sponsor of
gonna
hoodie
be
season.
like miss the beach, miss the sun, miss summer. You know, it's just that's just how that shit. Oh my god, just how that shit works.
And it's one of
You
those
look
things,
like
and
Little Red Riding Hood.
I like it. It's cozy. It's like So I think it's just the trend thing. It's just there's always going to be some sort of stupid trend, and until some sort of regulation comes along, which I don't think we might not even see it in our lifetime. And if we do, it'll be when we are already like established, and it's like time for our kids to experience it. Should we choose to have them? Like I can't see that happening immediately whatsoever because it's like our country won't catch up on what it needs to pay attention
And I
to.
guess this will be the final question that I'll ask for the podcast before we wrap up here. If, and I know it's tough to ask you as a 21-year-old because I know, even though a lot of the 21-year-olds that we know are starting families right now, both of us are in agreement that, like, that's insane for us personally. Um,
Yeah.
if you had a kid, what would you do about social media with them?
Oh wait, that's at me?
Yeah,
That's at, okay. All
that's at
right.
you.
So.
And you know what? You know,
Hmm.
like that could definitely be. I mean, some of our viewers could have kids.
Yeah, I
Some
mean,
of them are
so
planning to have kids, stuff like that. So yeah, like I mean,
yeah,
if you want that to be the end of stream question, we can definitely have that be the end of stream question. But I want to hear your personal opinion on it as well.
so I think about that a lot actually, and like not just only like social media and like monitoring my potential future kid, but like a lot of things. But like in specific, I'm not really sure how I would handle that honestly, because I know there's some really good and evil parts on it, and it's like I want to be the kind of person where it's like I take a passive standpoint and I let my kid do whatever they want and experience the world, but in the same sense, like I want to possibly save them from potential stress or depression resulting from it that
Hmm.
I know it can do, because it's like there have been kids who have actually like taken their own lives because like
Because of social media.
yeah, because of social media. But it's like I'm hoping that if I decide to just be kind of like laissez-faire with my kid, I want to teach them to not give a fuck. Because like in the words of Tyler the creator, I can't remember the quote exactly. He was pretty much saying like, "How is cyberbullying real? Ha ha ha! Like just turn your monitor off." Like that's been my mentality, and like why I haven't taken most things to heart, because it's like it's true to a degree, and it's like I guess it, my too long didn't read part would just be like I want to teach my kid that like none of it's real. I
Hmm.
guess like none of it's real. It is what you make it. Like you have to make sure you use social media with your mental
And I
intact.
mean,
Like
you've
you,
seen those memes of like two dogs barking at each other like through glass panes, and then they open up the glass pane, and they're suddenly
mm,
friends. Like,
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, just like that's a perfect analogy for that. Is like,
and it makes sense. Yeah,
if suddenly your computer disappeared, and next thing you know, like 3 feet away from you is that person, they wouldn't be saying that shit.
no, not without a doubt. I mean, you have like the select few meatheads who they would really slug it out if they got in a fight or something like
Mm.
that. But that's
But
that's like
like 95
the
percent,
minority.
95%
Yeah.
of people would just be like, "Oh, I have to, I have to hold accountability for my actions." Oh, so
But all right, well, actually, how about this? Let's turn the lens on you, and then we'll do the closing too. I want to hear what you think about that also.
what, like kids and social media, like
Yeah,
my personal,
just a brief note,
uh,
an elongated note, however
my
long.
my TLDR for me raising my kid in general is I'm not
Hmm.
gonna censor a lot. I'm
Okay,
gonna swear around my kid. Um,
it's the real world. It's how the world is.
and then if they ask like why can't they use it, I'm gonna say it's an adult word. I mean, and
Hmm.
shit, and that's not popular. It's not popular. But let's be honest. I got raised in like don't swear. Straight up, don't
Hmm.
swear. Like
Oh yeah.
get your mouth washed with soap. Don't swear.
Yeah, you're not.
And
There's
look
no
at me.
getting away with it.
I'm fucking swearing all the time. And I would like to think I'm fine. I'm renting
Hmm.
an apartment. I have a good job.
Hmm.
I have all this stuff that I've saved up for. Granted, I need to vacuum a little bit here, but besides that, I think I'm doing pretty well. And so, if my kid, I'm gonna be very open with my kid. Like another subject for another time would be tattoos and stuff like that. Like
Hmm.
I'm definitely nervous about getting any tattoo that is gonna be anywhere close to here, and
Right.
anywhere close to my hands. I never want to get like a head tattoo, like a face tattoo, but I've always thought about behind the ear. I've always thought about very minor hand tattoos.
Mm.
Um, so like I just want to be able to raise my kid in the way that I guess this was a little longer than a TLDR, but
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I just want them to experience all this stuff and then be able to tell them like you said for social media especially, like just turn it off, just go
Yeah,
away from it.
it's not real. Just
These people are just they're bored with their lives and they want to start drama.
mm,
And if you don't think of it this way, if you don't put coal in a coal powered train, is it going to move? Is it going to make progress? No, it's not.
it's profound. I like that. And on that profound note, we'll close out episode 3. And with that, I'm also going to turn the questions on to you, the audience. What do you think about like online friends versus real friends? Do you tend to like your online friends more than your real friends? Do
Yes.
you hang out with both of them, manage it better, one or the other? And like JT asked before, like how are you planning on, or how have you already geared your kid towards handling social media? Let us know in the comments. If you haven't already, give this video a like. Give our video other videos if you want to like, and don't forget to subscribe below.
Thank you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow?
Yikes! I'm out of
Oh,
here.
oh, I'm gone.